This lesson will cover multiplying fractions. This is part 3 of 4. We will focus on multiplying mixed numbers. Let's take a look at some misconceptions with multiplying mixed numbers. Our biggest misconception or mistake is that people think that it's okay just to multiply the whole number, then multiply the numerator, then multiply the denominator. But that is a huge misconception, and we're going to talk about the actual steps that we need to take to multiply mixed numbers correctly. It starts off with the review. We'll need to review how to convert mixed numbers to improper fractions. So if we start with the mixed number 5 1/3, we want to convert it to an improper fraction to be able to multiply it with another fraction or whole number or another mixed number. So we'll start with step 1, which is to multiply the whole number and the denominator. So in this case, we'll multiply 5 times 3. We know that that's 15. And in step 2, we will add the numerator to the product. So 5 times 3 gave us 15. We will now add 1, which will give us 16. Our new numerator will be 16, and our last step is to keep the same denominator, 3. So we will have 16 thirds. So 5 1/3 as a mixed number converts to 16 thirds as an improper fraction. We'll review another one just to make sure we've got it. 3 2/5. So with step 1, we'll multiply the whole number and the denominator. 3 times 5 is 15. We'll add the numerator. Plus 2 will give us 17, and we'll keep the same denominator of 5. So 3 2/5 as a mixed number will convert to 17/5 as an improper fraction. That is one of the steps that we will need to use in the very beginning to multiply mixed numbers. Something else that we'll need to know is how to convert the improper fractions back to mixed numbers, and that step will usually take place at the end. So let's jump into 19/8. If, for example, we had 19/8 as an improper fraction after we multiplied our mixed numbers together, then we would need to use division to convert that to a mixed number. So we're going to divide 19 by 8. Our numerator is 19, which means it's our dividend. Our denominator is 8, which means that is our divisor. We're going to see how many groups of 8 are in 19. The closest that we can get without going over is 2. That will represent our whole number in the mixed number. 8 times 2 is 16. We'll continue our division process. When we subtract, we are left with 3. 3 will be the numerator of our mixed number, and our denominator will actually stay the same. So it will be 8. So 19/8 as an improper fraction will convert to 2 3/8 as a mixed number. We'll try another one to make sure we have it. 17/5 is an improper fraction. We'll use division. 17 will be our dividend, and 5 will be our divisor. We'll see how many groups of 5 are in 17. The closest we can get without going over is 3. That's our whole number. 5 times 3 is 15. When we subtract, we have 2, which will be our numerator. And remember, our denominator stays the same, 5. So in this case, 17/5 as an improper fraction will convert to 3 2/5 as a mixed number. Again, we'll need to know how to convert a mixed number to an improper fraction and an improper fraction to a mixed number in order to successfully multiply our mixed numbers. Let's move into our real world scenario. Mallory is using a recipe to make soup. The soup requires 1 1/4 cups flour. She wants to make 2 1/2 servings. How much flour will she need? So we'll start with multiplying 1 1/4 times 2 1/2. But remember, we must convert our mixed numbers into improper fractions. And so to refresh our memory on that, we'll do 1 times 4, whole number times denominator, and then we'll add our numerator. Same for our 2 1/2, we'll do 2 times 2, and then we'll add our 1. So for 1 1/4, 1 times 4 is 4, plus 1 is 5. We'll have 5/4 as an improper fraction. And for 2 1/2, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. We keep our same denominator, 5/2. So now we are multiplying 5/4 times 5/2. Now we can use the same steps for multiplying fractions. We'll multiply our numerators. 5 times 5 is 25. And denominators, 4 times 2 is 8. So we are left with 25/8. Remember, that is an improper fraction, so we now need to convert that back to a mixed number to have a recognizable or understandable answer. So now we're going to use 25 as our dividend, 8 as our divisor. We'll see how many groups of 8 are in 25. We can say 3, that is the closest without going over. 8 times 3 is 24. When we subtract, we have 1 remaining, which is our numerator, and our denominator is 8. So we can say that we have 3 1/8 cups of flour that will be needed for Mallory to make her soup. Our next real-world scenario says the trail near Alan's house is 3 1/2 miles. If he plans to run 3/4 of this distance, how far will he run? Just a reminder that when we see of this distance, that indicates that we are multiplying. We are finding a part of the 3 1/2 miles. So we're going to do 3 1/2 times 3/4. If you notice, only one of these numbers is a mixed number, the other is a proper fraction. So as far as converting our mixed numbers into improper fractions, we'll only need to do that once for 3 1/2. So again, we'll do our whole number times our denominator, and then we'll add our numerator. In this case, that would give us 3 times 2 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7, 7/2. And because this is a proper fraction, we can keep it exactly like it is, 3/4. We are now ready to multiply. Our numerator, 7 times 3, will give us 21. Our denominators, 2 times 4, will give us 8. Again, we have an improper fraction. In order for that to make sense for our final answer, we need to convert it to a mixed number. So we'll see how many groups of 8 are in 21. The closest we can get is 2 groups, which will give us 16. If we subtract correctly with regrouping, we should have 5, which will be our numerator, and our denominator stays the same, 8. So 21/8 will convert to 2 5/8. So he will run 2 5/8 miles. So to recap our rules for multiplying mixed numbers, in step 1, we will convert mixed numbers to improper fractions. In step 2, we will multiply the numerator, multiply the denominators. In step 3, we will convert all improper fractions back to mixed numbers using division. Remember to subscribe to the Math in Motion channel on YouTube. For more in-depth lessons, please visit our Patreon page. And for online tutoring pricing, please email us at kpmathinmotion@gmail.com. Have a great day.